Guys, so I thought I was recording and I wasn't, and I was having a whole conversation with you guys and eating. So I still have some of the food here and I still want to talk to you guys about this topic, and I'm going to continue eating. But welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Thank you for watching the video before. It's in the process of uploading right now, so you guys might get 2 videos today. I'm not too sure. I might just save this one for tomorrow. But the topic I want to talk about, because I didn't cover it very much yesterday, and no, I don't have any makeup on today because I'm a twin mom. I'm a mom. It doesn't even matter if I'm a twin mom. I'm a mom, and I don't always have time to get makeup ready. My twins are currently sleeping, so I'm filming this video, and my son is at school. But I wanted to talk more about being a twin mom because in my last video, I didn't talk too much about it, and I was so hungry and kind of tired, guys. I'm not even gonna lie. That I couldn't think of what to say. So today, I wanted to talk about it. I want to talk about my experience, because every mom, whether you have a singleton or twins, your experience is different. Mine, I'm not going to say it was an extremely easy pregnancy, but it wasn't as bad as some people's, and I really do feel bad for other moms that have to go through so much more than what I went through. And I really didn't even go through that much. I think I just worried myself a lot because so many things can go wrong with a twin pregnancy. And then I was getting tests because I found out pretty early that I was having twins. It was at my first appointment, and I think I was already 2 months pregnant, I believe. I'm sorry, it was my second appointment. My first appointment, they just told me I was pregnant. My second appointment was my ultrasound, which was the next day. And that's the day I found out I was having twins. And it was actually really special to me because my 6-year-old was there with me, so that was actually really nice. He was 5 at the time, but he's 6 now. So he was there with me, and we wanted him to get to see his brothers for the first time. Well, I got to see them. Their dad wasn't here at the time, so he didn't get to be at any of the appointments. I don't think he got to be at, unfortunately. But so yeah, that second appointment I found out I was having twins, and that's when they told me they thought my twins were sharing a placenta. That is scary, mainly because you have one baby receiving nutrients in blood and the other is giving it. So most twin moms are worried about twin-to-twin transfusion syndrome. That's a very scary thing, because if your twins get it, there's ways they can try to prevent anything from happening. And sometimes they just don't find out soon enough, unfortunately. But there's a lot of twins that had it that I've seen on like the twin mom groups, and they've made it through, which I'm so happy for. My twins are my rainbow babies. So I had 2 miscarriages before I had my twins. And that was very scary to me, and I was scared I was going to miscarry again. So that was another fear of mine during my pregnancy. But I had found out so early that they were doing tests, and once I found out that they were mono-di twins, guys, I'm doing it today. Today's a lot better. As soon as I found that out, they told me I needed to go see a specialist because of the risks and them sharing a placenta. Now, the doctor wasn't for sure at this time that they were sharing a placenta, but they were pretty sure. So, I got the call from the specialist to set up an appointment. I set it up. I think I got the call the next day. I set it up and went in that same day. Guys, my twins were the most important thing to me. So honestly, I left work. And went to that appointment. My job was okay with it, but they weren't. It's just fruit punch. So because of that, it was kind of hard every time I had to leave. But I had to leave quite a bit because any like pain or sudden movement or anything that worried me, I was leaving, whether they wanted me to or not. Now I was going to the hospital because my kids are more important than a job. And so I went to that appointment and they confirmed that I was having twins and that the twins were mono-di. So they wanted to do some more tests. This one wasn't a good one. They wanted to do more tests, and they wanted to see if they had Down syndrome or anything like that. And anyone who knows me knows I don't like shots. I don't like having my blood drawn. I don't like any of that stuff. And so I was so nervous for this test, guys. But they were like, nope, it's just a prick in the finger. And that, I was like, okay, I think I can do that. So they pricked my finger. Sorry, I felt something on my lip. They pricked my finger. They put my blood on a piece of paper, and I guess they sent it off. The results came back. And when the results came back, they had very, very low risk for almost anything. But they eventually were concerned about, oh gosh, I want to say it was like Trisomy 18, something like that. If you guys know the real name, can you guys put it in the comments down below, or I will try and look it up and put it in the description, because I'm not exactly sure what it's called. But yeah, they got concerned for that. But they were saying in the ultrasound they didn't see anything, but they wanted to do another test. And like I said, guys, I don't like to be poked. And so I asked him what kind of test it would be. Because the number one test I did not want to do, guys, was the one where they stuck the needle in your stomach, the amniocentesis test, I believe it's called. And that was not something I wanted. Because I've heard that it can cause a miscarriage, and I didn't want to lose my babies. So I ended up not getting the test, guys, because it wasn't gonna change my mind on whether I kept my babies. I don't know what they could have did to help it. It was just one of those things that didn't bother me. And then so during the ultrasound, they said there was a pretty high chance that it was going to be boys. That was at my first ultrasound. And then my second one is where they told me the results of that test. Well, no. That was my first ultrasound with the specialist. And so after that, I'm trying not to make this video too long. But after that, I was basically seeing one of my two doctors, meaning my OBGYN / midwife, which I usually saw my midwife. So I either saw them or my specialist once every 2 weeks. So it's kind of rotating. So first time I'd see my doctor, and then I go to my specialist. And so it was nice because I got a lot more ultrasound pictures for the twins than I did with my first child. But yeah, so eventually, as my pregnancy went on, they got worried because one of my babies had, his umbilical cord was different. I guess there's usually like, I want to say, I don't know. He only had, I don't remember exactly what it was, but it's not, they ended up finding out that's not what it was. And it was a worry out of my mind for him. That was my twin B. But then they said he wasn't getting as much blood flow. Which kept worrying me because I've already had miscarriages and I didn't want to lose another baby. And then with their dad not being here and not having him to kind of like lean on, but he was there for me as much as he possibly could be. And you know what? He was there for me more than I expected him to be. Because he was on the phone a lot. Like, my family would try and call me and they couldn't get through. I was not answering that phone for anybody else. And I hope he knows. I'm sure he knows because I tell him all the time. I really appreciated that. I did have a scare that I went into preterm labor. I did get put on bed rest. at the end, my babies, even though I kept being told this wasn't possible, my babies flipped sides. My whole pregnancy, they said it wasn't possible. But they told me my babies flipped sides because the smaller one was now on my left side and the bigger one was on my right. And so they were trying to figure out if the babies flipped or if something just happened with their weight. And that scared me. So, and it was someone who had never done my ultrasound before. So she wasn't too sure what was going on. And then they brought in the girl who usually did it. And she put my mind at ease and she said the babies did flip. But I was still confused because I was told my whole pregnancy was impossible. But I guess at the end they did. So then after that, I was basically going to the specialist daily after they did that. And then after that, it was like a few days later, I was scheduled to be induced. Yeah, I was scheduled to be induced. And they didn't even get to the Pitocin part. So they just gave me the pill to soften your cervix. Sorry for any men that are watching, but this video is about me being a twin mom and my journey and the process of what I went through. So if you can't finish the video, I understand. But I think that's the worst thing I'm gonna say. So I had my twins naturally. I did not take any pain meds. At the end, I did ask for some, but the baby's head was already there. It was too late. Mind you, when he came out, my doctor wasn't in the room. It was just a nurse, and she was wonderful. I loved her. I actually want to go visit her because she's so sweet. She was like a really good nurse. And it was funny because she said her shift was going to end soon, but she wanted to be there for their birth. She wanted to witness a twin birth without pain meds. And there was a few nurses there that kept telling me that because I had been in there so many times because of scares. And so it was amazing. It was so beautiful. So their dad was there. My mom was there. And my mom's husband was there. He wasn't in the room, guys. It was just my mom and my husband that were in the room. My mom was actually trying to walk out of the room. She didn't make it out. My poor mom. But you got to see your grandbabies born, Mom. Congratulations to you. My babies were born weighing 5 pounds and 4 pounds 4 ounces. My hospital stay wasn't It was good, but it wasn't great. If you guys want to hear that story, that's for another video. Let me know in the comments, and I will definitely tell you guys that story. And so, like I said in my last video, I do breastfeed. I do occasionally supplement formula because breastfeeding is very tiring. Kudos to you moms that tandem feed and breastfeed 100% of the time. I tried to. I can't do it. I get extremely tired. But mainly, I'll do it like when we're out or when it's bedtime. I know some of you guys might be like, that's the most important time. I understand, but in order for my babies to sleep through the night, the bottle is what does it for us. And this mama needs some sleep. I do. I do. So they were able to come home immediately when I was released. They passed all their tests. They did their hearing test, well, one of the baby's hearing tests twice, because the first time he didn't pass, but they thought it was because maybe he still had amniotic fluid in his ears, which I guess was true because he ended up passing the second time. And so they passed that. I was worried about the car seat test because they're my smallest babies, and like I said, I've only had one before that. And you know, once babies lose a little bit of weight before you leave the hospital. And so I was worried that my baby that was 4 pounds 4 ounces, which was my baby B, I thought he was too small, because I think the car seat weight is like 3, you have to be over 4 pounds. And so they did tell me he lost weight, but they never told me how much. So that concerned me. So they ended up passing the car seat test, which I've never heard of that before. Maybe it's because they were so small they had to do it. But with my first son, we didn't do a car seat test. Is Arizona the only state that does that, or do other states do that? My first son was born in California. So yeah, and then we came home and we lived happily ever. No, I'm just kidding. They ended up losing more weight over time. I guess they weren't getting enough when they were breastfeeding. So I had to start giving formula again, because in the hospital I had to give formula. Like I said, I didn't have the best hospital stay, but it wasn't like the worst either. But yeah, so they had formula in the hospital, and then when we got home they had to have formula again. And I guess they weren't holding their body temperatures because they didn't have very much fat on their bodies. But I noticed it was only in the doctor's office, and I think it's because, you know, like at doctor's office it's really cold. So they didn't like require my babies, like they wanted them to be naked, basically, so they can weigh them and do all that stuff and check them out. Which to me is understandable, but if you're making a newborn baby wait in the doctor's office, you should at least let me like wrap them in a blanket or something so they don't freeze. But after that, they were fine. They didn't have that problem after that one doctor's visit. And I ended up switching them doctors as well. So, they have been growing just fine. I haven't had any issues. At one point I thought my twin B was gonna be bigger than my twin A because I started feeding them solid foods, and my little baby, he was ready to eat, not solids, but like baby food, and he was ready to eat, and he wanted whatever was on our plate. And so we would feed him, and we'd try to do it with twin A, but he didn't want it as much. So he started to look skinny to me, but I think that's because my other baby was catching up. So I think he noticed, and he realized how good food is, so he started eating. And he's now back to being my bigger twin. Oh my gosh. They are not crawling yet. They're definitely trying. They seem like they're going to be crawling soon. When they wake up, I'll probably put them on the floor and let them move around. They scoot for sure. Like I don't know, they get all over my house, but they're not crawling to get there. But they scoot and they move around. For me, I guess because the last time I dealt with a baby was so long ago, having the twins, it's like, it's not hard, it's not difficult. It is tiring, but that's with all babies. All babies can be tiring. But you know, I wouldn't change it for the world. And I know I hear a lot of people say they want to have twins. Guys, think of your body, because it takes a toll on your body for sure. If you have twins, great, that's wonderful. I'm so happy for you, because all babies are blessings. And anyone pregnant or just had a baby or has a baby, congratulations. I'm so happy for you guys. Like, genuinely happy. Because it's amazing. I wouldn't change it. Most people, when they see me with my twins, are like, do you want more? Yeah, I want one more. I do. But in some years. Not anytime soon. And the one thing that's always hard for me to remember is my babies are preemies. And with them being preemies, the doctor always tells me, due to them being born a month early, they are a month behind. But from what I can see, They look like they're exactly where they should be, like even for like a regular baby. Um, I mean, weight-wise, they're probably smaller, but if you guys look at me, I'm not very big. Like I said, I'm petite. So I don't expect my babies to be very big. But if you look at them, you can see one baby is bigger than the other. They're so cute though. If you guys have any more questions for me about being a twin mom or what I go through, like I said, just leave it in the comments. That's basically what I've been through with my twins. The only other thing is they did catch pneumonia, and the process with finding that out was very frustrating to me because we took them to the hospital 2 days in a row. The first day they just said, I think they said they have a cold. They tested negative for pneumonia and they tested negative for the flu. And with that, why is this like, sorry guys, I'm not able to break this off. They did chest x-rays, they did the swab in the nose for the flu. They checked them from what they said. They listened to their chest. But they said they were fine. And they just had a cold. And so I took it as that. The next day, the next day at like, I want to say about 3 o'clock in the morning, I woke up and my baby had a very high fever. I want to say it was like 104. He was burning up. My first instinct was hop in the shower. It was not to drive to the hospital. All I knew was I needed to cool my baby down because at the hospital, that's what they were gonna do. They were gonna cool him down. So we gave him Tylenol, the infant's Tylenol. And I jumped in the shower. Like there was nothing else I could do. I had their dad check my other twin, and he didn't seem like he was having a fever. But by the time I got out the shower, and my other twin was, and my baby B was cooled down, my other baby had a fever. And I was just like, okay, let me get him cooled down. It wasn't as high as the other one, but I gave him Tylenol and that cooled him down. I made sure they didn't have like clothes on that were too warm or anything. And I called the doctor. I know some people are gonna be like, why didn't you take him to the hospital immediately? Because one, they were gonna cool him down just like I did. And two, I've had many doctors and many nurses tell me it's not about how high, like ER doctors and ER nurses, it's not about how high the temperature is. And so I didn't want to be told that. So I called their doctor to schedule a follow-up for that day because it needed to be done. They needed to go in, especially because of that high fever. I wanted them checked immediately. And as soon as I called, they sent me to, I believe, a triage nurse. Like they transferred me. And the triage nurse told me I need to take them in. And when I took them in, that's when I found out they had pneumonia. And so I was very upset. Because I couldn't understand how they missed it the day before. But I did take them to a different hospital. I didn't take them to the same one as the first time. And the crazy part is, the hospital I took them to the first time was a children's hospital. It was for children's, but it wasn't children's. I'm not giving you guys the name of the hospital. But the second one, they don't really have pediatric doctors there. So I was actually shocked they caught it. But I was so happy and grateful. And they were very, very, very nice and very helpful, because I went to the hospital that time by myself with the twins and my 6-year-old. And when they heard the babies fussing, or like I can deal, like it's hard to deal with 2 babies at once, especially in like this itty bitty hospital rooms with 1 bed, and it's a lot. And then I have my 6-year-old. And so this lady came in and she asked if she can hold one of them. And I gave her my permission. And you know, they were very helpful. Very, very helpful. They helped me put that baby to sleep. They helped me. They gave my 6-year-old toys. They got him snacks. They were very helpful. Well, I really appreciated them. They're fine now. They're very happy. They're very healthy. Sorry, I know I was like looking at my food the whole time, but I really wanted this piece and it was not coming out. But, oh yeah, and they had tested negative for RSV, which was another worry of mine when I took them the first time. Because they were telling me it was RSV season. No, they didn't want my babies to catch. Because that's scary. With them having pneumonia, I was kind of shocked that they didn't keep them in the hospital, but they didn't keep them. I was able to take them home. But I think that's basically it. Taking care of 2 babies is basically the same as taking 1, but just doing it twice at the same time. My babies are very loving, so that's always nice. Like when they look at me, their little eyes light up, and it's so sweet. Another thing during my pregnancy, I had cravings, and it was for this. It was always seafood. My doctor told me it was okay to eat it. And so as long as it wasn't anything that had like high mercury content, so I was okay to eat. my seafood. In the beginning, I couldn't. Eating was so difficult, guys. Literally, if I made food, I couldn't eat it. Mind you, it was only me and my 6-year-old in the house at that time. He did not know how to cook. Eventually, he did learn. Not really cook, but he learned how to make himself eggs. And, like top ramen. Just easy stuff. I taught him how to make himself. Because like I said, that pregnancy wasn't hard, but it wasn't easy. And walking was very, very difficult for me. Walking, standing. And it was because like I had pains like in my stomach when I would walk. Yes, I did get checked. Didn't know what it was. But yeah, it was so hard for me to eat because if I made it, I was not eating it. Guys, I wasn't eating it. That's sorry guys, this is another long video and I feel so bad. If you guys can't finish it, please pause and come back later if you want to. But I appreciate you guys watching this long. I'm all on butter sauce, so I probably end it right here. But yeah, and then like I said, I didn't have many cravings except this, and then in the very, very beginning, like I think I was a month pregnant and I did have strong cravings already. It was for McDonald's breakfast sandwich, the sausage McMuffin. I had strong cravings for that, but that was it. So yeah guys, I'm gonna end it here. I'm out of butter sauce and this video is already super long, so please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video, and then turn your post notifications on, that way you don't miss an upload. But thank you guys, have an amazing day.